She used to text back fast. She used to smile when she saw your name pop up. But now, silence. Cold responses. Ghosting, maybe. And here's the truth. Most men panic when this happens, and that panic is exactly what kills their chances. Welcome back to the channel, where we break down what really works in modern relationships and give you the mindset to stay in control. Today, we're talking about a situation almost every man will face at some point. What to do when a woman starts ignoring you, and more importantly, what not to do. This is not about playing childish games or trying to manipulate anyone. This is about protecting your value as a man, because too many guys turn into emotional beggars when a woman pulls away. They chase, they explain, they try to prove their worth, and every time they do that, they hand over their power on a silver platter. Now here's the controversial part. Sometimes a woman ignores you on purpose, just to see how you'll react. Not because she's evil, but because women are wired to test strength, especially emotional strength. And if your first reaction is to chase her harder, you already failed that test. Let me be clear, this isn't about playing cold or toxic. It's about being centered. Being a man who knows his worth doesn't drop just because someone else is unsure. And in today's video, I'm going to walk you through 5 mistakes you should never make when a woman starts ignoring you. These mistakes are common, but they're also deadly for attraction. If you've ever been in a situation where she started acting distant and you didn't know how to respond, stay locked in. Because once you understand what's really going on and what not to do, you'll stop chasing validation and start standing in your power. Let's break this down step by step. 1. Stop texting. One of the biggest mistakes men make when a woman starts ignoring them is this. They keep reaching out. They keep initiating conversations, sending just checking in messages, or worse, pouring out long emotional texts, hoping to get a response. And every time you do that, you're handing her the power while draining your own value. Here's the uncomfortable truth. If she's ignoring you, she already knows you're thinking about her. She knows you want a response. The more you text, the more predictable and available you become. And the more available you are, the less value she sees. This doesn't mean playing mind games. It means understanding dynamics. Women are drawn to men who move with purpose, not desperation. When you constantly initiate, especially after she's pulled back, you're communicating one thing: you're more important than my own self-respect. And the moment she feels that shift, the attraction dips. What should you do instead? Simple. Pull back completely. Match her energy. If she's distant, be distant. If she goes silent, go silent. That silence should not scare you. It should center you. This is where most men fold, thinking silence equals failure. But in reality, silence is a filter. It shows you who's actually invested and who was just enjoying attention. Let's say you text her, "Good morning," and she leaves you on read. Then you double text the next day. "Hey, are you okay?" Still no reply. By day 3, you send a long paragraph explaining how you miss talking to her. At this point, she's not ignoring you by accident. She's doing it because she knows you won't stop. You've trained her to expect attention no matter how she treats you. Now imagine doing the opposite. She doesn't reply, you stop texting. You go back to your life. You focus on your goals. That silence becomes powerful because it shows emotional discipline. It shows that you're not a man who begs, you're a man who leads. And that shift in energy alone can flip the script entirely. So the rule is simple. If she's ignoring you, do not be the one chasing the conversation. Let her wonder why you stopped. Let her feel your absence. If she cares, she'll notice. If she doesn't, now you know. Either way, you win. 2. Don't ask what's wrong. When a woman starts pulling away, the natural instinct for a lot of men is to fix it. You feel the shift in her energy, and suddenly you're sitting there wondering what you did, what changed, and how to make it right. So, you ask the question, "Hey, is something wrong?" It sounds innocent. It sounds caring. But here's the issue. Asking that question puts you in a position of weakness. Let's be real. If something is wrong, she knows. If she wanted to talk about it, she would. The fact that she's ignoring you means she's already chosen distance. She's already testing your reaction. And by asking what's wrong, you're handing her emotional control. You're telling her, I'm off balance now. I'm unsure. You've got me second-guessing myself. And here's the thing. Women pick up on that instantly. The moment they sense that you're trying to get back on her good side without even knowing what the issue is, the dynamic shifts. You become the one seeking approval. That's not attractive. It's needy. You have to understand how silence works in relationships. Sometimes women go quiet, not because they want to talk about something, but because they want to see how solid you really are. Are you the type of man who crumbles at the first sign of emotional distance? Or are you the type who remains grounded, unshaken, focused? When you stop asking questions and start respecting her silence, everything changes. You remove the pressure from the situation. You stop looking like a man trying to fix something that isn't being explained. And most importantly, you maintain your self-respect. If something actually matters, she will speak on it. But if she's just pulling away to gauge your reaction and you immediately start asking what's wrong, all she learns is that you're more concerned with her emotions than your own frame. That doesn't build attraction. That builds imbalance. Here's a mindset shift. You don't need to chase answers to feel better. You don't need clarity to feel at peace. When you stop asking what's wrong, you start accepting that her behavior is the answer. And that's all the information you need. Stay calm, stay busy, stay in control. If she respects you, she'll come back around and talk. If not, your silence said more than words ever could. 3. Never apologize just to win her back. There's a difference between owning your mistakes and apologizing just to keep someone around. And unfortunately, a lot of men blur that line when a woman starts pulling away or ignoring them. The silence messes with your head, and you start questioning every little thing you said or did. Before you know it, you're crafting a whole apology. Not because you believe you were wrong, but because you want a reaction. You want her to come back. And that's where everything goes sideways. Let's get one thing clear. An apology that comes from insecurity never earns respect. It only confirms to her that she has emotional leverage over you. She learns that all she has to do is withdraw, and you'll come crawling with apologies, even when you haven't done anything wrong. That doesn't bring her closer. It makes her lose interest. Fast. As a man, your value is tied to how stable and self-respecting you are when things aren't going your way. If every time she distances herself, you default to guilt, you're training her to believe that you're the problem, even if she's the one pulling away. And over time, she won't just ignore you, she'll lose all attraction for you. You might think that apologizing will fix the situation, that if you just say, I'm sorry if I upset you, she'll soften up, and things will go back to normal. But that's not how it works. Apologizing without clarity or reason doesn't bring peace. It shows desperation. It tells her, I'll say whatever I need to say just to make this stop. That's not strength. That's submission. You have to stop placing her comfort above your dignity. If you genuinely made a mistake, own it like a man. Take responsibility with confidence, not desperation. But if she's gone quiet, if she's pulling away without giving you a reason, then there's nothing to apologize for. Don't fall into the trap of trying to earn her attention back through guilt. You don't owe her peace at the cost of your power. Stay grounded. Let her sit with her distance. If she's truly interested, she'll come back with communication, not confusion. And when she does, you'll be in a place of strength, not one of begging, explaining, or apologizing for things you didn't even do wrong. Your respect for yourself sets the tone for how others treat you. Never give that away for the sake of temporary validation. 4. Don't try to make her jealous. It's one of the most common traps men fall into when they feel ignored, trying to get her attention by triggering jealousy. Posting pictures with other women, pretending to be busy, leaving vague captions to stir curiosity. All of it comes from one place: insecurity. And while it might feel clever in the moment, what it really does is reveal just how much power she still has over you. The problem isn't that you want her to notice you, it's how you're going about it. When you play the jealousy game, you're saying, I'm not strong enough to handle your silence, so I'm going to manipulate you into reacting. That's not masculine. That's emotional reactivity dressed up as confidence, and women can sense that instantly. Here's the truth most guys don't want to hear. If a woman is truly ignoring you, trying to provoke her usually pushes her further away. Even if she reacts, it's not genuine interest. It's irritation, confusion, or amusement. You don't win her back by trying to make her feel left out. You just show her that you're still chasing her attention, even if it's indirect. And let's be honest, doing things just to get a reaction always leaves you feeling emptier afterward, because deep down, you know the motive wasn't real. You weren't focused on your life, your goals, or your growth. You were focused on her, hoping she'd notice. That mindset never builds respect, it destroys it. Trying to make her jealous also signals one more thing, that her absence has you scrambling. You're not calm, you're not centered, you're performing, and the more you perform, the more she realizes she's the one in control. That's exactly the opposite of what you want. The real power move? Do nothing, not out of spite, but out of self-respect. You don't need to prove anything to someone who's ignoring you. You don't need to manufacture attention. If your presence wasn't appreciated when you were genuine, it shouldn't be fought for when you're pretending. Let your silence speak. Let your focus shift back to yourself. The moment you stop trying to be seen is the moment you start being respected again. And not just by her, but by yourself. Bottom line, trying to make her jealous is just another form of chasing. And anytime you chase, you lower your value. Stay still. Stay grounded. Let her wonder, not because you're playing a game, but because you're too solid to play one at all. 5. Stop watching her stories or liking her posts. When a woman is ignoring you, but you're still watching every story she posts, or liking her pictures the moment they go up, you're sending one very loud message. I'm still here. I'm still hoping. And the worst part is, she knows exactly what she's doing. Social media might seem harmless, but when you're dealing with emotional distance or silence, those little actions tell a bigger story. Watching her stories, liking her selfies, leaving a comment, it's all quiet chasing. It's not direct, but it's visible. She sees it. And instead of wondering where you went, she knows you're still tuned in. Women are incredibly aware of how their online presence affects attention. If she's ignoring your texts but still posting, she knows you're watching. She wants to see how you'll react. And every time you engage, you're feeding that dynamic. You're proving you haven't moved on, that she still controls the frame, even when she's gone silent. Here's what you need to understand. When a woman ignores you and you still give her views and likes, you're not being subtle. You're being predictable. She doesn't have to respond to you because you're still showing up, just digitally now. That doesn't spark curiosity. That doesn't build attraction. It only reinforces that she's in control. One guy I knew kept checking his ex's stories daily after they stopped talking. He didn't reach out, but he thought staying present on her feed might keep him in her thoughts. A week later, she unfollowed him. Why? Because she could feel he was still orbiting, still lingering without saying anything. It came off needy, even without a single word being said. The smartest move is to pull your energy all the way back. That includes social media. If she's ignoring you, give her the gift of total absence. Stop viewing her content. Stop engaging with her page. Let her actually feel what it's like to not have your attention at all. Not just in texts, but everywhere. Because the truth is, women don't miss men who stay visible. They miss the ones who disappear. Not to punish, but to protect their peace. Show her what it looks like when you stop checking for her, and you'll instantly shift the dynamic. She'll either respect the space and return, or she'll reveal that she was never invested in the first place. 6. Don't vent to mutual friends. When you're dealing with a woman ignoring you, it's tempting to turn to your friends, especially mutual friends, for support. You feel like you need to unload, to explain the situation, to get a second opinion. But here's the thing. Venting to mutual friends is one of the worst moves you can make. It doesn't help you, and it definitely doesn't help the situation with her. First off, think about it. When you vent to someone about your frustrations, what's happening? You're airing your emotions and frustrations, sure, but you're also creating a narrative. You're putting your side of the story out there. Now that mutual friend knows exactly how you feel, but more importantly, they now have a biased perspective on the situation. And it's only a matter of time before they talk to her about it. That's how things get messy. Even if they don't intentionally take sides, your emotions have already colored their perception of the situation. And once they share their thoughts with her, whether directly or indirectly, that whole emotional dynamic shifts. She may not be ready to open up or deal with what's going on, but now she's been forced into a conversation that she didn't ask for. She might start to feel cornered, judged, or even more defensive. This isn't going to bring her closer to you. It's going to drive her further away. On top of that, venting makes you look weak. When you spill your emotions to others, you're demonstrating that you don't have control over how you feel. And that lack of control can feel unattractive, no matter how much you try to justify it. It doesn't matter how justified you feel about being frustrated or hurt. Expressing it too much gives off the vibe that you can't handle your own emotions. Women are drawn to men who are emotionally stable, who don't let one situation dictate their entire mood. Instead of turning to your friends, take the time to process your own feelings. The space you give yourself to reflect allows you to come back stronger, more composed. This not only helps you heal faster, but it also keeps you from oversharing in a way that could make her feel like she's being pushed into a corner. And here's the big kicker. No matter how close you think you are to these mutual friends, they're not your therapists. Their role is not to solve your problems or mediate between you and her. It's also worth considering that sometimes these mutual friends might be trying to protect her more than they are trying to understand you. They might unintentionally make the situation worse by emphasizing things she's already thinking about, maybe even things that don't really matter in the grand scheme of things. When she's ignoring you, the best thing you can do is focus on yourself, not get caught up in everyone else's opinions. You'll feel better, you'll be more grounded, and when the time comes to talk to her again, you'll be in a much stronger position. 7. Never chase after silence. Listen up, this one is crucial. When she's giving you the silent treatment, when she's not responding, when you feel completely ignored, never chase after it. Never ever make the mistake of running after silence, hoping it'll suddenly turn into a conversation, or worse, a confession of her feelings. Let's be honest for a second. If you're still chasing after silence, it's because you've missed the point of what silence actually is. Silence isn't just the absence of words. Silence is her space. Silence is her moment to think, to breathe, to figure out what she wants. Silence isn't something to be feared. It's something to be respected. But here's where a lot of guys go wrong. They see silence and interpret it as rejection. Instead of giving her the time she needs, they panic. They spiral. They start texting even more. They beg, they over-apologize, they reach out through every possible channel, trying to break the silence. Here's the truth, though. The more you chase it, the worse it gets. You're not winning her back by chasing after silence. You're just showing her how desperate you are. It's a weakness. When you don't respect her silence, when you don't honor her space, it screams that you're not emotionally in control. You're letting her absence dominate your every action, your every thought. And let's be real. If you can't handle a little silence from her, how do you expect to handle real challenges in a relationship? It's time to wake up, man. Silence isn't your enemy. Silence is your opportunity. It's your chance to reclaim your power, to get your focus back. Instead of obsessing over her lack of response, turn the focus inward. What are you doing in your life right now? What are your goals? How are you growing? If you're chasing after silence, you're losing sight of your own mission. Real talk. The more you chase silence, the more you push her away. It might feel counterintuitive, but that's the truth. You cannot force someone to communicate if they're not ready. When you chase, you're pressuring. And pressure never makes anyone want to open up. It only makes them want to run. It's time to stop letting her silence control you. It's time to stop letting your emotional state depend on whether or not she texts back. Silence is just an obstacle you've created in your own mind. Step away from it. Let it be. So here's the advice. When she goes quiet, you go silent too. Use that time to focus on your life, your journey, your personal growth. Don't chase the silence. Embrace it. If she comes back to you after her space, she'll come back because she wants to, not because you begged her to. Respect her silence, respect your own space, and move forward. It's the only way to build a real, lasting attraction. All right, let's finish with a statement that might shake some of you. If you can't handle a little silence from a woman, you'll never have the emotional strength to maintain a healthy relationship. That's harsh, but it's the truth. Too many men today are addicted to constant validation. They expect instant replies, instant attention, and when they don't get it, they break down. They chase after the silence, the lack of response, and that's when things go downhill. But here's the reality check. Relationships aren't about constant attention and being tethered to your phone. They're about space, growth, and respect. If you can't deal with the quiet moments, you'll never build the kind of attraction that lasts. I want to hear your thoughts. Have you ever been in this situation? Did you make the mistake of chasing after her silence? Or maybe you've been able to embrace the space and find that it worked in your favor. Comment below and share your experience. I'll personally reach out to connect with you and offer any advice I can. This is about creating a real community where we support each other and help each other grow. So, drop your stories, your questions, your thoughts in the comments, and let's keep this conversation going. Remember, the silence is just a test. It's up to you to see how you handle it. Don't chase after it. Use it to your advantage. Stay strong, stay grounded, and always keep your focus on building your own life.